Good morning, happy Monday. This is Kruesi Originals, and this is a 2023 Nightster that we're giving away. Yes, this is our next giveaway bike. We're gonna do some cool shit to it. We're finally starting. We got the first part for this thing that we're gonna put on. I'll show that to you later, but this is the prototype part. So usually on the Nightsters, the gauge comes mounted under, and it kind of looks a little goofy. I have it on my Nightster over there, which we have a full lineup of Nightsters right here, which is pretty crazy. Harley-Davidson Nightster. I'm gonna just say it one more time. This is the prototype. It's pretty much just a gauge flip, super simple install, 4-6 bolts, and you've got it on. I'm gonna do that today. Without further ado, let's get started. First things first, I'm gonna get the gauge out of this. So it's a little different setup. If you have the stock setup, obviously your gauge will be down here. This is our prototype bracket, so I'm gonna take that off. Same steps. Take the bolts out of the back, which is gonna take a long time because I don't have an Allen socket this size. It's a 5/64. Harley's been using these Allen bolts in their gauges since like the dawn of time. If you have a tool for the old shit, it'll work here too. I thought these bolts were going to be a lot longer. Nice. And just like that, we don't have the gauge plugged in because we were just mocking this up because it was a prototype. Set that aside. And then a T45 for everything else, which if you've ever seen a Nightster in person, you'll notice there's a lot of Torx bits on it. I think Ryan said, I think they did that because not every Harley-Davidson mechanic has metric tools, and a lot of these bolts are metric. So they just put Torx heads on them, because every Harley mechanic has Torx tools. Makes sense to me. Ooh, first step, I need a tank cover, which in this case, it's an airbox cover. This is also the first test fit of this new part in its final form, in its aluminum final form, I should say. So if it doesn't fit, you're gonna find out. We'll see how good Jay is. Just kidding, Jay's great. We love Jay. So the reason why you couldn't just take the stock one and flip it over, if you look head onto this, you'll see the bolt spread is different from top to bottom. So Harley just made it ever so slightly inconvenient. We tried that as soon as we got these things in because, let's be honest, gauges at the bottom kind of suck. Unless you're into that kind of thing, which we're not. Yeah, this is an exclusive Nightster piece, specifically for the OEM style riser and bar, which I think it's a pretty good, comfortable setup. I like it a lot, actually, as far as like stock handlebars go. Usually handlebars are like the first thing you want to change because they're always terrible, but these actually feel really good. And they're at a good height for the bike.
Even with the new seat?
Well, actually, I don't know with the new seat because Ryan has aftermarket bars. So we never felt the new seat with the stock bars. That's something to keep in mind. All right, well, it fits. Look at that. It fits, it clamps down, looks a whole lot better. This is the OEM setup. It was down like this. Time to slip the gauge in it. When putting the gauge in the housing, don't forget the wiring. Save you a lot of headache. Ooh, which it's not quite long enough to get up in there. Come on. Cocksucker. I think I gotta get a little fancy with this. So if you look back here, you can't really get the plug in far enough like to plug it into the gauge before you put the gauge in the housing. So you kind of gotta like finesse it. So before you bolt the gauge housing to the bars, you wanna get the gauge in the housing and plugged in. Like it's long enough to reach, but like it's just long enough to reach, you know what I mean? So you gotta have the gauge in the housing and plugged in before it goes up on the bars. So get this guy. We're plugged in. Okay. It's not bolted in yet, so I can adjust it once everything's on, but you want to make sure you plug the gauge first before you put it up on the bars. Today is also a pretty crazy day, so we have the winner coming to pick up the stunt tail finally today, and then we're heading over to FXR division to do some secret stuff with the Nightsters tomorrow, and Ryan and Chris are going over bike week right now. It's a lot going on today. Happy Monday. I think these bolts are going to be too long, but yeah, they're too long. And this is why it takes so long to get parts into production to be able to sell to you guys, because we got the first model back from the machine shop. It's not deep enough, so the back of the gauge is butting up against the back of the bracket, and it's not letting the gauge sit in the housing enough for the screws to bite. So we got to go back to the drawing board, get this a little bit deeper, and go from there.
I stepped in. Here I am. This is a prototype. We're having a couple fitment things. I'm going to do some checky loos and things like that. But Chris is here from Monoculture. Chris not only puts on the dopest events there is, but he also wraps vehicles and things with the vinyl.
Yes.
And someone tried to buff out this satin tank or spray paint it or something and tried to paint them. It looks like shit. I don't like it. So these are just shells. I kind of want to take this shell off and wrap it in carbon just because I think it would look sick. So we're kind of going over talking Chris into wrapping a gas tank in carbon fiber.
I think the texture one would look cool on it, but the forged carbon I think would look dope on there, honestly.
I got a big roll of forged carbon.
Is it the Vivid? Sorry, Vivid, but you suck. Not to be a dick.
Yeah.
But
So-
we could try it. I would say KPMF is another good one to look at. Avery, 3M, and KPMF should be pretty easy for us to get. Yeah.
I think it looks sick on the bike. Carbon, some raw aluminum pieces, some suspension, some different things. An eyebrow. We're out of our headlight conversion brackets right now. We're cutting some more. But we're going to do a headlight conversion, get rid of that fairing. And we have a Sportster fairing
Yes.
at the warehouse we're going to put on. Basically the same thing, but it's going to set higher and look a lot better than the factory one. And a couple other little doodads. We have exhaust on the way for it because Kruesi Originals now has exhaust for the Nightster. It is available the end of this week. It will be on the website by the end of this week, maybe by the time this video's up. If it is available, all you gotta do is go down in the description. The link will be there. You can go buy it. It's gonna be $375. Can't beat that with a stick. We'll do a video at Chris. Chris can do a how to wrap a gas tank and how to throw a temper tantrum really fast. Because I've tried to wrap a gas tank before on a motorcycle.
It's not as bad though.
Gnarly.
These ones suck. These ones, I'm already feeling it. It has a hard edge. It's gonna be way easier than a normal gas tank.
I wrapped like 2 or 3 Dyna tanks many 15 years ago, you know, trying to save some money and do it myself, and it just cost me a garage door. That's really all I had. A garage door and some bloody knuckles for me having a meltdown. Yeah, that shit is hard, dude. I didn't know about like cutting and doing seams or anything. I was trying to do the whole tank in one piece. So I'm going to make a couple adjustments back here on the back of this guy and try and just bolt this dude up and see what the measurement distance is, or see if it's just an optical illusion. We are going to need a
Wire extender.
yes.
It's too tight.
But there's not a chance in hell you'll be able to turn the handlebars. We got to come up with a wire extension. He's going to call Buddy Stubbs Harley-Davidson right down the road. And then after we get done with this, we're going to step over to Trent's Nightster and we're going to throw a set of AS Racing, American Suspension Racing Jump Masters on the back. This is new stuff. This big, super highfalutin suspension. I'm going to have to build reservoir brackets because they don't have them for those. So I'm going to build the first set and then give them some dimensions. Those will be available for the Nightster by the time this video is done as well. And we'll do some testing. And then tomorrow, we're taking my Nightster down to FXR Division to try a new intake setup. By intake setup, I mean velocity stacks, the plenum, everything. And we're going to do some tuning, dyno tuning on this to see what kind of power we can get out of my bike. I'm pretty excited about that because I've been saying this over and over again. It needs tuned really, really bad. So she's finally going to get tuned. Stuff's finally going to happen. We're making power. First thing I got to do is make the countersinks just a little bit bigger with this tiny little dude right here. All right, there's step one. What is happening here? It's so tight. Oh, there it is. There it is. Just gotta push that rubber in. It's actually, I think we're dialed. I just need to get them countersinks better. No, I'm gonna need longer hardware, I think. The aluminum, this is considerably thicker than the other one. I wanna see if these holes even line up properly. Yeah, those are good. I just need to cut the hardware down like a 1/4 inch. So we're gonna have to have longer hardware, it looks like. She fits. That's dialed. Hardware just needs to be longer. Countersinks need to be just a hair deeper. And clamping surface is good. Fitment looks good there. We need to find a wire extension, and I gotta order different hardware. Other than that, I think we're pretty good to go. I might have Jay cut the next one just maybe a couple thou deeper, which it's pretty spot on. That is real close. This dude all goes inside, so it's not going to affect that whatsoever, so that doesn't matter. I think we're dialed. We just need to get the hardware. And an extension. Let's go see. Is Trent making a phone call? Let's go find out. Harley's got Nathan.
Yeah. Instrument extensions and drag from like NAMs, but they're all like 15 inches and longer.
Let me go take a measurement and see kind of where it needs to be. I want it to be long enough to have where they unionize together, that they're hidden underneath the thing. You like that look? Man, when Dave worked for us, he always had his glasses on like this, and he's like, hey, you just gotta wear them like this, brother. I'm like, I'm never doing that shit, Dave. Here I am. Man, it sucks it's not just an inch longer. That makes a problem for that. Let's just do a generic look right here real quick. Let's say 9 inches. That's about right. It would be cool if it plugged in down here and I could extend it from the backside. I might not have to get an extension.
Think you were able to pull some wiring out?
Possibly. It is zip tied up in here, so cut that dude right there. Come on. Come on, little buddy. There we go. There we go. There's a little bit of length. Little bit of length. Just what the unsatisfied wife ordered. So this plug right here goes over the top and plugs in right here, which stops this from going up. So I unplug this guy, put it underneath, cut this zip tie. I'm gonna allow this guy to go up here. Put it over the top of this dude when we put this back together, which now gives us a bunch of length. I'm gonna take her back apart, plug it all in, and see if we solved a mystery. The things you do to not cafe. Cafe. Let us cafe. You think people that are really into cafe style bikes really like Happy Days and like big Fonzie fans? He rode a cafe bike. I think it was a Triumph. I think that like every cafe dude is trying to be Fonzie. The Fonz. Remember when Peter Griffin created the Church of Fonz? Now let us Ever since I saw that, I've wanted to start my own church, but Church of Kruesi. Man, you ever Googled the fucking house of the dude that started out here?
Oh, I can only imagine.
They got a $25 million mansion. They seat like 25,000. The one on 67th Avenue has 4 services on Sunday, 25,000 apiece. 4 services on Saturday, 25,000 apiece. And it's televised. It's 10% of your fucking weekly earnings before taxes. Hell yeah, they are. It's church.
I never paid tithes.
Supposed to, man. That basket got passed around.
Yeah, you didn't put none in it, but you.
Yeah, just because the basket got passed on to the next guy doesn't mean. I mean, you don't have to tithe, but it is strongly suggested. Come on now, where are we at? There you are. Oh, I need somebody to hold this side. Trent, come hold this other side for me, where my finger is. What will my finger do? I went to high school with her. She dated Mike Oxlong for a while. He used to run with Willie Naylor and Sharon Peters. Screw in the hole. What could the church be, though? Maybe I don't start a church. Maybe I just start a cult. I am an ordained minister, so I mean, shit. That's already started. All right, let's try and plug this muff in. We'll fucking make these half as long for me.
How the am I gonna sand them down, or?
Yeah, grab them with a pair of pliers. And just whop on the red sander.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then give them a nice roundy, and hit them on the wire wheel to clean the threads up. Put some leather gloves on because they're gonna burn you.
These are gonna be fun to play with.
These things are they're like just small enough to where like you can't really get.
Well, grab them with pliers.
Yeah.
Sideways.
They're just gonna go flying.
Yeah.
No, you put them in the round jaw part of the plier. You know the pliers like this. Clamp them in the teeth.
Yeah. I'll figure it out. It's just going to be a wonderful experience.
Burn you worse than sin, brother.
Yep. Yeah, they're going to get hot as hell in like 2 seconds, too. As soon as you touch it to the fucking sander.
So the sander didn't work out. I'm gonna bring it to the saw. So I'm gonna go double vice grip. Yeah. And I'm gonna use this vice grip as a guide to cut the bolt off like that. It's such a small bolt, I can't like fix it in anything, you know? Like,
much did you shorten and cut them in half?
I took like a 1/4 inch off.
I needed half. Side note, just got off the phone with Max from Ride Destroy. We just signed the Brawl for Metro Mayhem. That is going down during Bike Week here in Arizona at the Metro Mayhem event. I know you guys know about it. You were probably here last year. It was massive. It's going to be even bigger this year. It is April 5th. Probably going to be a 2-day event because we are having extreme drag racing. We're going to have the big Pro 6-second bikes. We're going to have the Pro Spec bikes. We're going to have Run What You Brung. Come out, battle your homeboy. All you got to do is go on the website, register. You can come out and battle your boys, drag race, get into whatever you want to. We're going to have all the old school biker games. We're going to have the Brawl stunt comp. We're going to have a sport bike stunt comp. That's right. Even you sport bike guys are coming out to compete. Get Vertical's going to be doing all their games. Last Man Standing Burnout, Drift Limbo. Lots of stuff that anybody can get down and compete in. There's also going to be 30 of the top drifters around are going to be out here running their cars on the OG main loop right next to it. And you can ride with them. There's going to be, you got to pay, but you can go pick anybody you want to, get in line. I think it's like $50. You can go ride with a pro driver. Which it's $50 because tires are expensive and you burn a set of tires within like 1 to 2 laps. You can ride with a bunch of people. We're going to bring some celebrity drivers out, a bunch of rad stuff like that. And it's all going to be going down the same spots. You can literally be standing here watching stunt comp, burnout comp, biker games, drift track, drag racing. You can just go like this and watch all of it. All the big vendors, all the biggest vendors, all the biggest companies you want to see are going to be at our event. Trust and believe they're going to be at ours. It's going to be sick. And it ends at 6 o'clock, so if you want to get to the concerts over at Westworld or you want to go to Cave Creek, you're not going to have to miss any of that other stuff. We're scheduling everything so you can come to our event, come to the biggest, dopest, wildest, gnarliest, most combustion engine carnage shit you've ever seen. Then you can go to the other stuff and go watch that too. So everybody gets to do everything. Tickets are live right now. You can go to motoculture.com, get your tickets. If you want to drag race, I think it's going to be a 2-day event. Friday is going to be test and tune. Run What You Brung. There'll probably be some gambler runs. All the stunt comp practice will be going down Friday night, so you basically just get to come watch a big crazy stunt show with like 40 riders. That day is going to be, I don't know how much, $25 for spectators or $15 or something like that. I'm unsavvy to that at the moment, but it'll be on the website. There'll be 2-day passes too. If you want to just go to both days, you can get 2-day passes and check them both out. I'd recommend that. And if you want to do some drag racing, I think it's $85. That includes your entries and your tech card for Saturday. Then you got to go down and get with the drag race guys and pick which bracket you want to sign up for, and then you pay for that bracket. If you're just doing the cheap bracket, I think there's even a $20 run against your homie bracket, something like that. Friday night is $50. That's your tech card and your entry if you want to do some drag racing. It's going to be sick, and the Brawl is going to be here. We are bringing the Brawl in because I don't have time to run a stunt competition and run a big event like that and manage all these people and run around and do all that. And Trent wants to compete. Somebody needs to show up for Kruesi Originals, and the Brawl is OG. Max is the one that started all this, and Max is the one, Ride and Destroy, should be the one doing these competitions, not us. I don't want to do comps. I'd rather leave it to the people that started it and created it all. And we're going to bring in some new judges. I'm normally like the head judge for the Brawl, and I'm not going to judge this one. Don't have time. And we want to mix it up a little bit for the crybabies out there. You know you are. We might even make one of them a judge. Who knows? You got any suggestions on judges? Let us know. You got any suggestions for crazy shit you want to see? But it's April 5th, 2025. April 4th and 5th, but April 5th is the comp. Come out. Don't miss it. I promise you, you're not going to go to a single rally in the entire fucking planet that has this much action ever in your life. That being said, look how hard that shit looks. Probably should have came that way factory, don't you think? Got lots of room. We'll take it down, spin it around, make sure all that stuff is good. If it's not, we will put wire extensions in here. But for now, it's ready.
It's on.
It's on. We're going to make probably, I'm going to be honest, we're probably only going to make like 5 of these. So if you guys want them, they'll be available. Get on it because, like I said, we're probably going to make 5 of them and just kind of see where it goes and see who wants them and see how you guys like them and go from there. But next, we're going to jack the front of this thing up. See this big gap right here? These don't even come lined up.
No, not at all.
They just toss them in there. We got, looks like 9/16, just a little over 1/2 inch of that stuff sticking out, which this bike is extremely low factory, And that's like my biggest complaint about this thing. I believe this bike was made and geared for women. So if like you want to call it a girl's bike, I think it probably was, to be honest. Like yeah, everybody says the Sportster is a girl's bike. That's the dumbest shit I ever heard, because the Sportster has the highest seating position of any motorcycle out there, and it's terrible for women that usually have a shorter inseam than men. The Softail was actually the girl's bike. It was the best bike made for women because it had a very short seating position for a short inseam, easier to get your feet on the ground. But this dude was so light, and it's very low to the ground. And they marketed it when it came out the first couple years. They were giving these to a lot of women influencers out there, and not dudes, because none of us dudes, including us,
Didn't even know it existed.
we didn't know it existed for like 2 years. And I think they just really, really missed the mark on where they were trying to push this bike, which I think it is a good bike for chicks because it is very, very light. It's low to the ground. It's good for like a short inseam for, you know, chicks are generally shorter than women, except for Trent. And it does make them anyway,
5'8", you know, on a good day.
my wife's 5'9".
She's taller than me, yeah.
Yeah, she's freakishly tall for a woman. She's a shield maiden. But that being said, they built a bike that was geared that way, but has a motor and brakes that are nasty. It's a nasty bike. So once you put suspension in it, get the thing off the ground, because it's basically it's slammed. It's got what, 12-inch or 11-inch shocks in the rear stock?
Gotta be, yeah. I think those are like, you measure it right there, yeah.
13s. Wow.
I think it's just the way the frame's set up then.
I think the way that the geometry is,
That makes sense because we got to put 15s on them.
Yeah, so basically that's like a set of 12s on a Harley, because Harleys come stock, Dynas come stock with 12s, and you go to 14s to get them tall in the back. We go from 13 to 15 to get them tall where they need to be. 15 is perfect on this. The front, I have the front on mine as high as it could possibly go, and is what we're gonna do to this one right now. We're gonna raise this dude up. We're just gonna slide these down, flush mount these, just get another little half-inch-ish of height out of the top of this dude. And the winner of the stunt tail is coming to pick his bike up.
He lives here.
Really?
Mesa.
Mesa? Mesa, man. I do believe our following in Arizona is bigger than I take it for granted. This guy didn't even know he was entering a contest. He didn't even know that there was a giveaway. He was just buying parts off the internet and won a motorcycle. It's pretty wild. Here's an easy part when you want to slide these down. Look at this. Let's get these blinkers out of the way. Oh, that one's, look at that. She's loose as a goose.
They both are.
Slide her down, because these are just plastic clamp-on blinkers. Keep going. You just want to give him a hold. Let me get this guy. You give him a little twist. A little lift. Probably gonna have to loosen the blinker on this side. This one's actually pretty snug. Look at that height we just got right there. That's a solid 3/4 of an inch. I don't know a single one of you out there that couldn't use an extra 3/4 of an inch. And that's all you gotta do right there. Slide it out, slide it up. Let's fix this blinker. It's dialed. Absolutely dialed. Normally I would take these blinkers and put them in the only place they belong. That's the trash. I hate blinkers. I think they're just the most motorcycle aesthetic ruining shit on the planet. But if they're on here, I'm going to leave them on here, and whoever wins the bike can choose to take them off themselves. And I'll leave that up to you guys, you know. We don't have to have them in Arizona. It's not even required. You don't even technically have to have a headlight in Arizona unless you're riding at night. We probably have the loosest motorcycle rules in the entire
We have like the
country.
loosest driving rules too. I mean, you could street legal a 50.
Yeah. Anything over 49 cc's you can ride on the street. Me and Trent had 2 quads we used to rip the streets with. You can street legal quad, side by side, anything you want to ride here. Don't move here though, it's hot, stay where you're at. So there she is. Where's that fairing? Let's pop that dude back on so we can get a nice walk around, nice, clean, beautiful look. I like the fairing, I just don't like how they set it so low. I hate bottom mount headlights. I think it looks not it, like when you bring this thing up. So we're gonna do a top mount. And a Sportster fairing, it's just the same thing, a little bit thinner, so everything will kind of be, the headlight will be up here. Just give it a little more of a aggressive look, you know, like a python. And then we're gonna wrap the gas tank, and we'll do some other stuff. This bike could be yours. All you gotta do is go to KruesiOriginals.com, spend $5. You could win a Nightster, a 2023 Nightster. This thing has
6,000 on the dot.
She's pretty fresh. She's a freshie. It's got cruise control. It's got GPS navigation. It's got Apple Month CarPlay on it. On this. It's nuts.
And it's faster than your fully built Dyna.
100%. I waxed a built 117 with my bone stock one. And don't forget, for every $5 you spend on KruesiOriginals.com, enters you a chance to win this custom Nightster right here. All you got to do maybe go get a dope-ass pair of KOE eyewear, you know, some Kruesi Originals sunglasses. Or one of these shirts.
And we got these dope-ass sweatshirts. And sunglasses, too.
You can even work in these ones. There he is. How we doing?
Woke me up from a nap. What's up, man? I'm
How
Ryan.
you doing? Awesome.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
What's up, Ryan? Nice to meet you. You're here for a motorcycle, huh?
I guess so, yeah.
Didn't even know you entered.
Honestly, had no idea. Just buying parts for my Dyna, and now I got a call.
Oh, yeah. That's sick. She's all ready to go. She rips and handles like nothing else there is, you know. She's a beast. I've had it since like 2008, pretty much.
Really? It's like new.
Yeah, it's been a bunch of different things, but I wanted to be like first person to sit down wheelie a twin cam softail, so it was a long road to build it to this, but yeah, she wheelies like son of a bitch now.
So gangster. It looks so much better in person. I mean, it looks good in photos.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it's so cool in person.
When the cops picked it up, that's the number. Yeah, she's ready to rip, dude. She's all
So
yours.
sick.
Thanks, appreciate
Thank
it.
you. I appreciate it. It's so cool.
And on a closer, I mean, closing this all, I feel like we definitely finally got the gauge in the right place. The Nightster gauge is looking proper. I'm leaving it raw like that too because I like raw billet aluminum pieces on bikes just because it looks rad. Those will be available soon. We're going to dial it in just a tiny bit more, but they should be available by the time this video drops. I'll have a link down below in the description. Other than that, like, subscribe, ring that bell, and I'm super, super stoked that dude got to come pick the bike up in person. That was pretty rad. He's really pumped. He's been watching the series about that bike. Didn't even really know we were giving that bike away. Was just buying a K-bar from us and won a motorcycle. So you too could win a motorcycle. You could win this motorcycle. We're giving this motorcycle away. It's a Nightster. You could be out shredding them streets. You could be out there smoking all your homies on their big twins because there's not one of them that can keep up with this bike. That's it. Kruesi Originals. Like, subscribe. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Peace.